Sri Anil Rajasthan, my friend, philosopher and guide. Ajay, of course, is my email friend. In India, we have this pen friends. He's an email friend because way back in '94, as a student from Ottawa, I was searching in the net as to who are the people who are working on environment. And Ajay's email ID I got, and since then I know. Mr. Popley is my colleague, and we worked together earlier. Mr. Rajendra, of course, is in the right side right now, because the way he put forth the story of silicon in India is very interesting. Somehow, people of his tribe haven't been very lucky with silicon. And sometimes it really has been a challenge as to how to bring silicon to the forefront in India. But this is, I think, the third time I'm here. And it has been a very interesting gathering. And particularly when you talk about energy and technology, it has to be interesting. In fact, the other day, a friend of mine who studies biophysics, because these days everything is getting integrated, he was telling me that if you look at the human brain, it looks like a 3-story structure. And the first story was, of course, there. But the second story in the building, the 3-tier, it came when I'm told human beings invented the technology of fire. Because it became much easier to digest food. So the calorie intake went up, and so brain added another layer. But the third one came when we got the technology called agriculture. Food was available. There was no more of uncertainty in this. So I'm told we added another layer of brain, and that is the biotechnology part of this thing. I always say that is very interesting. He also tells me that somehow in human brain, it uses carbon to store energy or data or memory. And in computers, we chose silicon. And he says, somehow, if we can integrate silicon and carbon to talk to each other, I can carry a small chip in the pocket and with an electrode here, and I can talk to the silicon computer from a carbon computer, and that is in my mind. The point that I was trying to tell is that this has been really, energy has been the essence of things. How we grow, how we understand the world, and that is why the technology and energy is a very great combination that actually has helped mankind to be where they are. And E is equal to mc square, that famous equation that you all know. I was in a ministry called Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and we have several scientist friends there. One of the things they were all worried about was that if you get fusion energy at room temperature, all our solar, wind, everything will have a tough time, because you can get fusion energy maybe much cheaper. So it has been a story of energy actually everywhere. And if you look at the latest part of cosmology, where you see only 5% of the universe is visible matter, and 95% is unknown, unseen, it only exists in theory. Whether it's dark matter or dark energy or anything that actually holds the cosmos together. But this technology and energy are so much, if you put a question today that some 2-3 years back, a fellow got a Nobel Prize for saying that, look, you can exist in 2 places at the same time. It's very unusual, because we all have been told that you can exist in physics at one point at one time. And if you can exist in 2 places at the same time, you can teleport yourself. That talks about a different form of energy. And what you see is that, when Einstein was telling that Newton was wrong, and gravity is not essentially a fundamental property of matter, it is actually curvature of space. And the earth moves around the sun not because it is pulled by gravity, turn upward, but the space around Earth has got curved. It has to move that way, the way that is moving. A form of energy again. So this energy and technology are, have been really interesting things. And if you, today, when we are talking about renewable energy and the different technologies, I'm tempted to think of the industrial revolution, when first the steam engine came, the steam power, the steam energy. And mankind felt very emboldened, very powerful, that they had steam at their control. And then from steam, we moved to electric power, more reliable. We got, thermal, coal. And then we moved to electronics, the third stage that integrated with circuits, with diodes. And now if you say we are beyond steam, we are beyond electric, we are beyond electronic, definitely. And where are we? And that is that brilliant thing, and that is the interesting phase where energy and technology are lying today. We are past steam, we are past electric, we are past electronic and IT. IT, we are talking about quantum computer. If you talk of the quantum computer and the present computer, you will find how inferior the present computer is. It only uses two things, zeros and ones. But the quantum computer won't depend on zeros and ones. It will depend on everything starting from 0 up to 1. And if you break the straight line between 0 and 1, it can be an infinite pieces, an infinite number of items the quantum computer can use. And that, if you go for that famous n minus 1 factorial, you will find out how many combinations and permutations we can make and how powerful we will be. And if we can link the carbon brain with the quantum computer, and you can see the fun that will come. And increasingly, energy will be perhaps more affordable and more doable and more durable. And that is where, the famous thing comes, the skill, the scale, and the speed. These are the fundamental things that drives the energy society, that drives the energy technology, that drives the energy market. And how do we put this energy into use? Of course, we perform, we reform, and we transform. And that is where we are talking about disruptive technologies. But today, in fact, if you look at artificial intelligence, if you look at the type of robotics that has come, the type of driverless cars that we are talking about 3D printing and going beyond that. We are talking about Internet of Things. We are talking about bioeconomy. We are talking about DNA engineering. All are very new areas, in fact, grand new areas where energy and technology are actually taking the interface. Editing gene, we never thought of that. We never thought of having immunotherapy in cancer, where the body fights with so much of vigor. And but ultimately, all these new, emerging, challenging technologies that we are talking about, they boil down to an issue of energy. And then, of course, we talk about human beings, people without light, people without food, and the negative externalities of the production or generation process of energy. It's very limited, but it is vital for us. As we told that the health impacts, the impact on economy of how energy is generated, how energy is consumed, how energy is distributed, that's very vital today. I'm not talking about going to the level of energy when the Big Bang took place, or we can break apart space and time. We are talking about simple energy that we need to live with dignity in day-to-day life. With this, and how do we link it to the organization that I come from, ESA, the International Solar Agency, which were jointly put in place by India and France, with one thing and the fundamental thing was, do we in this 21st century wait up to 2030 to give light to people in villages, or to give, to replace firewood for cooking, or to exploit solar energy through technology so that the poor can actually benefit? The ISA feels that you don't have to. If you have to wait up to 2030 to give universal energy access, in simple terms, in fact, I come from a village, and light is very important there. Energy is very, very important. When crops dry up, energy counts a lot. Even a small solar pump of 1 horsepower helps a lot. It means a lot of different things for the farmer. It means life and death. So ISA feels that if together, not only these 121 countries between the tropics, but beyond the tropics also, we can come together. Can I go for 1 billion street lights? Can I go for 1 billion home lighting systems? Can I go from the exhibition to reality? And can I go for, I earlier told 500,000 pump sets, but now they say at least 1 million pump sets, where the farmer from morning till sunset, even with half a HP pump or 1 HP pump, and when the sun is in the sky, he or she can get power. He or she can run a pump. They're not worried about E is equal to MC square. They're worried about their food grains. They're worried about the food. They're worried about day-to-day survival. So can we take energy? Can we take technology? Can we take a combined form of these two to the doorstep of people who need it? And that is the spirit of 21st century. So much towards technology, combining the new frontiers, but at the same time, the practical challenges that we have to sort out the problems of environmental pollution, the problems of poverty, the problems of lack of a simple thing called light in the villages. Of course, now India has a target by 2019, all villages will be electrified. But then they found that a village getting electrified means not much. Like in my village, out of 100 houses, only 10 people have connection. So even if my village is electrified, not everybody is connected with power. So I'm told Government of India is coming up with a scheme so that anybody and everybody can take connection. And it makes sense, because if you have surplus power, you should also have a type of pricing or a type of fiscal instrument or financial instrument so that consumption goes up. It makes really sense now. But I find this story should go not only within India to the interior parts, it should go beyond India. And similarly, other countries have brilliant things to share, experiences, best practices. And ISA will be a common platform to bring this together. At the end, I'm very thankful to the committee for having invited me. And I'm sure about the hydrogen story. And I sent an SMS to our National Institute of Solar Energy, where they do a lot of hydrogen research, to come and do it. In fact, a big challenge has been in Tamil Nadu. During the monsoon time, we lose billions of units of wind energy, because monsoon doesn't care whether you need energy or not. It just produces wind energy. And we don't know how to utilize it. Now, can we really electrolyze water, store hydrogen, and send it to Japan? Not a bad idea. But these are the things that come out of these places like this, avenues like this. And that is the opportunity that we create, the sharing of knowledge, coming up with new ideas. And hence, once again, thanks to you all for having given the time to hear me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.